Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Just gonna sit down and say a few things, maybe a little bit of a rant. Does it feel, with all this technology that we have and all the devices that make us so much more connected, the world becomes such a smaller place? Why is it such that we're so much more increasingly isolated from each other? We sit in our homes and we watch videos of people, content creators. We watch the Super Bowl. We watch our favorite shows. We go to work. We talk to people. We do our jobs. We come home. Just kind of get into our routines. It just seems, with all this technology and all these devices of communication, that why is it we're getting so much more isolated? I would say that, having been released from a prison of sorts, a marriage that was 16 years, abusive, I would say maybe some narcissistic abuse. Those that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. And that's the kind of isolation that I'm coming out of, where down to the core of my identity as a man, as a father, as a husband, has been questioned and been put to test and just wrecked with friends, wrecked with community, wrecked with my ecclesiastical system. That's the kind of isolation I'm talking about. Like, who do you talk to? Who do you trust with the blasphemy that's been cast about you, the doubt that's created? It's like there's this nuance that they're so good at creating, just so they look so good. Their image just is never tarnished. It's just always pristine. No one would suspect. No one would ever think, what? How could she do that? How could she say those things? This guy, really? He did what? But then you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I don't really need to correct the record. I don't have to defend myself. I don't really care to defend myself, because for what? What does it do? I know what the truth is. And whether others believe it or not, it's not up to me. I don't control anybody. I can't influence anybody's decisions or thoughts about the storyline. And you know what, frankly, people don't care. We have our own crap that we're dealing with. We have our own stuff that is hard. And, you know, we wouldn't change places with anybody. We wouldn't want to take on other people's problems. The grass isn't really greener. It looks like it, but it's really not. So if you're in a situation where you feel isolated and you feel like, I don't know, backed in a corner, you are rebuilding and you're trying to make sense of the confusion that you've been in for the last 16 years or X amount of years, well, that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to sort it out. I'm trying to figure out what in the freaking heck happened. How could things have gone so wrong? You know, we believe in an honor system where we are good fathers, we're good providers, we're good husbands, and we take care of things. We just stuff it down. We We just go to work every day, and our wives can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. They can project whatever they want. They can bite us. They can punch us. They can scratch us. They can, because we're the men. We're the big guys. We get the big guns. We can bench 400 pounds. We're invincible, right? Yeah, right. That psychological warfare that goes on and on and on and on, where your kids get run off, where your family gets run off, where you get blocked from your friends, you get blocked from your family, and you don't know it. And there's emails that get sent that are looking like they come from your account, but you never sent those. And you just don't know what's being communicated about you. And then you get called into your ecclesiastical leader's office and questioned. Like the light in your face. Where were you on the night of the 17th? Who were you with? This freaking Nazi interrogation going on. And you're like, didn't do that, didn't say that, didn't happen. But then the doubt lingers. And so you become more isolated, and your belief in Jesus Christ is like the foundation of everything. And so you don't care what other people think of you, and you don't think that it matters. Isolation continues to be part of your MO, and you start to look in and embrace and lean into it. And you start to see, what's the truth and the lie? What did I do? What didn't I do? What am I not being accountable for? And you just rebuild. Guess what? You freaking rebuild. You get up and you get after it. There's only a certain amount of time where you just can lay around and self-loathe and have that self-pity, to where you're like, you know what? This isn't doing anything. I need to get out of here and I need to get stuff done. This is stupid. You get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you get sick and tired of being treated like you're a piece of crap. And that you've come to believe, as to a certain degree, that you deserve it, and that you are a piece of crap, and that you are not worthy of love, and that you aren't worthy of great relationships, and that you aren't worthy of people around you that care about you. Well, guess what? That stuff's crap. Because now you get to be that person for others, and you get to have those others to be that for you, that you didn't have, that you were isolated from. And so you get to reset the deck, and you get to get out there and get after things and make it happen. That's the only way things change in your life. That's the only way you get to be able to have some resolve and to be able to build yourself back up after you've just been absolutely annihilated by the narcissist, terrorized, tortured, crucified. And now's your resurrection here, man. Now's your time to get your freaking coattails, pick your bootstraps up, and get after it. Enough feeling sorry for yourself. Enough sitting in your house by yourself. It's time to get your friends. It's time to build your relationships with your families. It's time to enhance your relationship with your kids. You're being reborn. This is a gift. You get to get out there and turn your life into something absolutely beautiful. A lot of times you get these books, you get the middle, you get the beginning, you get the middle, and then you get the end. You're somewhere in these chapters. You're not at the end yet. So you get a chance to write the rest of that. So get your freaking book out. Start writing that stuff down. Because this is going to be your victory story. And I want to hear about it. I want to talk about it from the rooftops. How did you rebuild yourself? How did you turn yourself from freaking ashes? How did you turn yourself from those burnt down ashes into this beautiful thing? How did you rise again? What was it? You were destroyed. Who you were was cast as not worthy. Who you were was cast as insignificant. Who you were was turned into their march and their decimation of you. But then you got up and you got yourself back into the place where you were untouchable. Nobody could tell you that you were not worthy of love, that you were not worthy of a great marriage, of great relationships, of great friends. You got up and you got after it. And I want to know what it was that got you to do that. Going through a little bit of that myself. Getting out of a really toxic, horrible marriage for 16 years. Been the most brutal thing. Those of you that have been through this know exactly what I'm talking about. But you didn't stay there. You didn't stay stuck. You didn't allow yourself to be overrun, to be consumed into the fire and burnt to a crisp into the oblivion. No, you got up. You got yourself whole and you reconnected those circuits and those neural pathways and you rebuilt yourself. And that's the most beautiful thing. There's nothing that anybody could take away from you now. Once you've been through hell and back and you rebuilt yourself, there ain't nothing anybody can do to screw with you or to make you see yourself as anything other than worthy of love, worthy of beautiful things, worthy of having the things that you desire and being the gift in other people's lives. Because you know what? Guess who wasn't there when you were rebuilding yourself? How was it when you were alone and you were in your house with no one to talk to? How was it? How was that isolation? Well, I think to a certain degree, it was a gift because it forced you to sit with your pain. It forced you to deal with the confusion. It forced you to sift through what really happened and what really didn't happen. It forced you to confront and flip the switch like a circuit breaker to reset that, oh, disconnected, lights aren't turning on, to turn those freaking lights back on. I want to know what it was. What did you do? I don't know if it was one thing. Was it two things? Was it a series of things? But I can venture to guess that it was something that you did consistently. You took care of your health. You took care of your mental health, physical health, spiritual health. You drew closer to God. You leaned into that. And it's a private, sacred thing, a gift, an experience that you go through that others that haven't been just completely wrecked have no idea what you're talking about. I've heard it said that God isolates those that he calls. The harder things that you go through, it's like a tuition of sorts, a schooling of sorts for the soul, is to build resilience. If you can handle it. If you can't, well, there are people that choose another path, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of suicide going on, and it's very tragic. But I think we can make a difference, those of us that are rising from the ashes and rebuilding our lives, that have seen heartache, that have seen immeasurable pain, that have seen nights where you just don't know how you're going to go on anymore. This spiritual warfare on your soul, on your identity, on your character, on your reputation. And how you've had to work so extremely hard to overcome those barriers and overcome those monsters that have been lying in your head, that have been bouncing around, doing stupid stuff, saying things that are just nonsense. That whispering in your ear from a partner, a spouse that was really just dealing with their own stuff, and it was nothing to do with you. But what it did for you is it forced you to confront the things that were holding you down and holding you hostage. The valley of sorrow turned into these mountains of joy. And you're looking down through those valleys and you're on the heights of these mountains. All I just can say is just praise God for being with you and walking with you along the way. And then these doors continue to open. It starts with one, maybe a phone call from somebody that reaches out to you that you haven't talked to since 2012. Maybe a visit from somebody that you haven't seen. But I'm telling you, it's not random. It sure isn't something that's just happenstance. Everything I'm going to say is intentional. I believe that's the way God works. He sets us up. If we will participate, if we will accept the challenge, like Mission Impossible, the message will self-destruct in 2.3 seconds, whatever that thing. But if you choose to accept, look at all the adventure, look at all of the things that you get to learn, and look at all of the change and all of the things you get to do to affect other people and effectuate the positive, beautiful things. It says in the scriptures, there is beauty from ashes. You get to rise from those ashes, and you have been, and you continue to do that. Doesn't mean you're not having ups and downs, and you're not having issues with people and your ex, and stuff happens in life. You're still going to lose a job. You're still going to have friends that come in and out. You're still going to have crap that happens, but your ability to deal with it and to face those challenges, it's like 600x. You're not sitting home self-loathing. And if you do, you get over it real fast. And your ability to heal and accept and look your face in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and see your face and see the value that you have, that you're not a piece of crap, that you're worth something, that you're amazing, that you have incredible value, that you're priceless, that you deserve love, that you're worthy of that. You don't belong on the sidelines. You don't belong as just a casual observer of your life. You get to participate in your life, and you get to go and do the things that bring you joy and that create the wonderful things that you have envisioned. You get to do that. You don't act and turn things into, well, okay, I guess whatever happens, happens. No, you're making things happen. And the world needs more of you to get up and rise. Pick up your cross and keep walking. Just keep walking. Because with every step, there is another opportunity for learning and growth. That's all what this is about. Growth, learning. You're not going to stay down forever. Success and failure, they're just cycles. We have successes, we have failures. It's part of the deal. These seasons aren't forever. It's not always winter. It doesn't always rain. Although it probably feels that way right now. Frozen. Freaking getting rained on. Shivering in the cold. But come back to the fire. Come back to that passion that you have that was once there with you. The people looked to you for. People were really excited about what you were doing. That vision that you had. That's what you're getting back to. That's what you're turning into. You're turning into that man that's capable, that's powerful, that's able, that's deserving. And that just makes stuff happen. We can't be allowed to be overrun with the thoughts in our minds that we don't deserve this or we don't deserve that, or how our life is right now is exactly what we deserve. No, it isn't. You have a soul. You have a purpose. You have a destination. And you have a God that knows you and what that purpose is and where you're going. But he's not going to force you to do that. He's not going to force you to get up. He's going to let you sit in this pain because it can be a valuable teacher. Keep having the gratitude. Keep your gratitude journal going. Write down the good, the bad, the ugly, the gnarly. Write down your freaking successes. Write down your wins every day. Make it a habit. There's no other way to get around it. You don't just wake up one day and you've risen from the ashes and you've had all the success. It's just incremental. 1%. Just make it 1% better. If you can't be 1%, some percentage, but just put the effort in. Your effort will be rewarded. It might not feel that way. But sometimes you just got to put things on autopilot until you start to see a difference. Do something nice for somebody. Go buy somebody random flowers. Like, go shovel somebody's walks when it snows. Go mow someone's lawn. Pull some weeds. Do something. Pay for somebody's McDonald's or do something nice. Don't expect anything in return. Those are the things that are going to get you out of isolation. Because you're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about your problems. You're not thinking about how horrible it was for 16 years being buried alive, told that you're this or that or whatever. You're in charge. You're in charge of your life. You're in charge of what happens next. You're in charge of the stuff that you put in your brain. So don't put crap in your brain. Like a high-performance automobile. You're not going to put cheap crap in your automobile. You're going to put good tires. You're going to make sure the oil's changed. You're going to make sure the transmission functions properly. You're going to make sure all the gears are synchronizing. The coolants are good inside of it. You're going to make sure the lights work. You're that vehicle. You got to make sure that stuff happens. You can't fill your mind with crap. It'll destroy you. Read the good books. Study God's word. Say your prayers. Just basic stuff like that gets you out of isolation. Go serve somewhere. Get out of your house and go do something for somebody else, not yourself. Forgive. Let them believe what they believe. Forgive. It doesn't hurt them what they think about you. It only hurts you. You know, the forgiveness isn't for them. It's not for them. It's for you. So that you can set that burden down and you can move on. Give it to God, you know, put it away. Do what you got to do to get there. Forgive. Have peace in your heart. Incrementally, you know. If you can't forgive everything right away, just forgive a little bit. Start there. It's like a muscle. You got to work it. You got to look at it. But the growth doesn't happen when you're looking at it. You know, when you're lifting that freaking 400-pound set or whatever that is. It's after. It's the recovery. Maybe that's what this is all about. Recovering from isolation. Maybe that's what we're doing. We're recovering from isolation and narcissistic abuse. We're survivors. We're warriors. We're going to go out and make stuff happen. Keep believing in yourself and believe that there are others out there that have prayed for you to come into their life. And it's just so close. You're finishing the final chapters of that tuition. It's like this tuition of the soul. All the crap that happens that doesn't feel good. It doesn't turn out the way you want. It just freaking wrinkle after wrinkle. You know what? It's freaking tuition. could be counted for joy. It sucks in the moment. It does. But can you look back in your life and say, that horrible thing that happened, there wasn't some good that came from it, and there wasn't some wonderful, beautiful thing, because it turned you into something that you weren't? And how could you have learned any other way? Could you? Could you have learned any other way? Like, really? I think that's what it is. So I think that these blessings are ours if we can embrace them, because it just points at stuff that's missing, stuff that we need to learn, stuff that we need to try on, growth that needs to happen. And so I say, light that torch and let's carry it. Because there's others in your life who know you or who don't yet know you, who are going to need your advice and your guidance. And there's no hard and fast manual to hand them and say, well, this is what I did. Go ahead and do these things. Let me just preach to you the things that you need to do, because you know what? They need to figure it out. No kid learns to walk by mommy and daddy telling them how to walk. You got to fall down. You got to get back up. You got to bash your head a few times till you figure out what this thing is called balance, and how those muscles in your feet work, and your legs, and stability. That's what we're doing right now. We're building from being just decimated. But you could be a support for somebody. You could be a guidepost. You could be a mile marker and say, oh yeah, hey, you might want to avoid this. You might want to not do that, probably. How about, yeah, that sucked pretty bad. Wish I didn't do that. And if they do the things you said not to do, well, there it is. Maybe they just needed to learn that too. I don't know. But if you've listened to this for this long and something's happened, my only hope is that we could just band together, create this brotherhood. Because, men, we need to change how this freaking narrative goes. Far too many men get cast as this absolute piece of crap. And there are far too many men out there that are just amazing, but they've just been beat down and they don't know how to get back up. And they don't know how to push through the stuff. So we need to be there and freaking carry that torch. You got to light your own torch, and we need to bring it in. And we need to congregate. We need to assemble. We need to unite. We need to talk about it. You can't just bury this crap forever. To a certain degree, we got to do what we got to do to get stuff happen. You got to build a house. You can't just complain about all the stuff going on. You actually got to put the timber and the metal and the stone into something. It's not going to happen just by complaining about what stuff isn't going well in your life. You got to do. You got to get out there and do. So let's get out there and be doers. Let's get out there and carry the torch and rebuild this thing. Let's rise from the ashes. There is beauty from ashes. Let's do it.